This is the point from which I can never return. And if I back down now, then forever I burn. This is the point from which I can never retreat. Because if I turn back now, they can never...
Guys, welcome back. It's June 19th, 2011. Susan and I got caught by the break. We were having an in-depth conversation during the break period, and I lost track of time. It's hard to not lose track of time when you have a guest like Susan Lindauer on your show. Okay, she's just a wealth of information. And again, even though she's a female, she's got a set of balls that wouldn't fit in a dump truck. Because I don't see too many people running around willing to, put their rear end on the line and to go through what she went through. And then after going through the hell that she went through, still have the courage to stand up and, say what, say the truth. Most people, they would have been through what you've been through, Susan, and they would have just backed off and crawled into a hole, and you didn't. So, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And as a veteran, I thank you for standing up for this country and trying to at least prevent the madness that has been ensuing, since 9/11.
Well, we have got to realize that the enemy is us. I mean, we are doing this to ourselves, and it's not Al-Qaeda that we have to be worried about. It's not Al-Qaeda that's tearing down our civil rights in this country. But I'll come back to that in just a second. I want to tell everybody that we had talked about the weapons inspections and the war on terrorism, and what Iraq was trying to give us in anti-terrorism. But Iraq was also offering us something else, and I always want people to know this. Iraq was offering the United States preferential contracts for the reconstruction of the economy after sanctions in any post-sanctions period. And the United States was going to have preferential contracts in telecommunications. That would have been satellite phones, satellite television, any sort of internet communications. It would have been huge wealth opportunities for U.S. corporations. The United States was also promised preferential contracts in healthcare, hospital equipment, pharmaceuticals. We were offered preferential contracts in transportation, infrastructure, including the Iraqis offered to buy 1 million American manufactured automobiles from, and we got to be clear on this, from Indiana and Michigan and Ohio and the states of the United States that are hurting right now in the Rust Belt. These cars were not going to be manufactured, by subsidiaries in Basra. They were going to be manufactured here in the United States to provide jobs here in the United States, and Iraq was going to ship them into their own country at great expense so that they could provide, build a positive relationship with the United States. It was incredible. Iraq was offering the United States preferential contracts on oil, and the great tragedy of all this stupid war is that now the United States has taken the oil industry by force, and through sabotage and destruction by sanctions, we have arrived and received our bounty to find that the Iraqi oil infrastructure is destroyed by the years of neglect and the sanctions, and the pumping stations cannot be used, the pipelines are damaged, and it's now cost prohibitive to do business in Iraq, which is why Iraq is putting out leases, or trying to put out leases, where the Iraqi government would pay to have this stuff developed, and no one will take it. So here we have the second largest oil field in the world, and it's essentially inaccessible now, which is how we get into Libya. Libya. And yet we seem to be doing the same. Okay, Libya has a cost of, before the war, had a development cost of $1 per barrel of oil, and the United States and NATO decided they were going to go in and take it. So now they're bombing the oil facilities again. They're imposing sanctions on Libya, and it turns out that we're supporting the bad guys once again. And that's how Federal Jack and I got together, because I have not only did I cover Iraq, but I also covered Libya. And I have incredible sources inside the country, and I have been accumulating documentation, a video documentation from Libyan refugees. There's a fact-finding delegation that is made up of Europeans, Americans, and Africans inside Tripoli right now, and they include a team of international human rights attorneys, and they are doing interviews and going around getting video footage, and because in some cases these people are just dead, of course, and they're getting the documentation to prove that what's happening over there, and it's nothing like what CNN is telling you.
Oh, of course. All you see is what you see on CNN is nothing but propaganda for the war. Beforehand, I remember, it was a girl was calling out of Libya, and she was, we need the Americans to intervene. Gaddafi is killing everybody, and you could clearly tell it was a staged call. It was just as bad as the incubator baby lie, in the first Gulf War, or the weapons of mass destruction lie in the second, Gulf War. It's all about trying to fool the idiot public and justify horribly, I may add, because there really isn't any justification for going into a sovereign nation, bombing the crap out of it, killing innocent civilians, and then lying about it and trying to blame any civilian deaths on the regime of that nation.
Yeah, and that's what's happening. And I hope that all of you will go to federaljack.com. We are in the process of posting a number of videos. A couple of them are already up, and more are coming in the next. What would you say, the next 48 hours?
Yeah, I'd say the next 48 to 72 hours, we're working on getting the rest of the videos up, and they are just it backs up what the claims that are coming out of there by these independent sources. Of course, no NATO-backed source will say this. They'll say any atrocities are all happening and being perpetrated by Libyan soldiers. But you can clearly see in the two videos that are up there already, you can clearly see that it's the rebels doing horrible, horrible things, including beheading people that are handcuffed with their hands behind their back. Yes.
And the man in the beheading video, I want to be really clear, has already been identified as a Libyan soldier. There is no ambiguity on that. His own family has said he was a Libyan soldier, and they have stepped forward and I confirmed it. The accent, when you see the video, the first comment was, "This has to be Iraq." And in fact, it looks like what you would expect from Iraq. But you have to remember that in the Iraqi conflict, the reason I wanted everybody to see this is at the very start of the Libyan war, we heard talk that, which was quickly ignored in the mainstream media, that a lot of the Libyan rebels were tied to the Iraqi freedom fighters. And they were the foreign fighters who had gone into Iraq and who had been perpetrating atrocities in that country, and at the time of at the high point of the Iraqi war in 2006, we speculated what would happen when those foreign fighters returned home and took their bad values and their bad practices with them. Well, here in the Libyan conflict, we're seeing what that means, and it is a very, very ugly thing. But I want you to know that this has been confirmed by the family of the soldier, that he was a Libyan soldier, and they have said that the voices are Libyan. It's a Libyan Arabic dialect. And so there's no question that this was done in a different country, in a different conflict, and somebody has tried to pass this off as a Libyan problem. These are the Libyan Arabic is very distinctive, and there's no question who this is or where it was shot. It was definitely in the country of Libya.
Exactly. And if I didn't think it was authentic, I wouldn't have published it. I wouldn't have put it up on Federal Jack. I wouldn't have worked with you. You wrote an awesome article. You supplied the videos, and I helped you put it together, on the website, and you did an awesome job. And I wouldn't have, if I thought it was fake in any way, shape, or form, because I had it a couple days before I put it up. and, you know, I researched it and I checked everything out. And you kept agreeing with, you know, you kept back and forth with me and said, yeah, you know, it's all authentic, blah, 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 blah. And I put it up. Otherwise, I wouldn't have put it up. You know what I mean? So for people jumping on you like that right off the bat, that's like almost.
Well,
like,
you know what? It's so scary. It's so scary that the immediate reaction is this couldn't be happening.
Oh, well, exactly. People, because it's horrendous and it's horrific. We're going to break, guys. We'll be right back. Go check out the article on federaljack.com during the break. It's called "The Ugly Truth: Libyan Rebel Beheads Gaddafi Soldier and Other War Crimes." We'll be right back.
The world bloody and dramatic. Human beings killing monkeys to conquer the planet. The kingdoms of Africa and Mesopotamia. Machine gun your body with depleted uranium. This is the age of micro.